Hello everyone, welcome back from Top of the Wall. My name is Mason Opp, and welcome to All for One. So like every Convoke deck, we're based around playing a bunch of 1 mana cost creatures and then tapping those creatures as though they are mana dorks to play larger, more powerful creatures much earlier in the game than we're normally able to. And like every ramp deck that tries to ramp into larger creatures, you need additional support cards, ways to protect your creatures, other ways to win the game. You need every little advantage that you can get out of your mana dork besides just mana. So starting with the ground up, we got our Benevolent Bodyguard, a creature that we can use as a mana dork for the Convoke, but then we can also sacrifice him to give protection to our much larger creatures. We have Caravan Escort. Caravan Escort is a 1 mana 1/1, but it has level up, so we can level it up in the game and get it bigger and bigger and bigger, so that way if one of our larger creatures does die, this is backup plan. Making 5/5 first strike creature is a good backup plan. We got Copperhorn Scout, so that way we can end up tapping all of our creatures down, play one of our larger Convoke creatures, then attack with just the Copperhorn Scout, untap all of our creatures, and try to replay another large creature on top of that, accelerating us dramatically. We have Ithacan Javelineers, just a good creature to ping some of the small tokens that we're seeing in the game right now. It's an additional kind of body plus that ping, giving us potentially a 2-for-1 in this mana dork. Loyal Sentry is a super powerful blocker in the aggro matchups. When we're trading our 1 mana creature for their potentially 3 mana creature, it's definitely in our favor, and it definitely prevents them from going to combat over fear of losing the creature. Stumphorn Sentry is 1 mana for a 0/3 blocker. After just having 10 permanents, we get this +3/+0 bonus, and now we have a 3/3 for 1 mana. A great body, just very cheap for its mana cost. Nest Invader is kind of like a ramp spell. It has 2 bodies for the price of 1, so we pay 2 mana, get 2 bodies in the 1 card, and that accelerates us so that we can pay bigger evoke cost faster, and we can sack the Scion afterwards to pay more mana cost later. Scatter the Seeds is our first Convoke spell that I want to go over, and our first one of our payoff cards. Scatter the Seeds makes just 3 1/1s for us for 5 mana, so we can tap a couple of lands, tap a couple of creatures, play Scatter the Seeds, and potentially then, if we have enough left over, play another Convoke creature or another Scatter the Seeds, really pushing us forward and both accelerating us and giving us advantage on the board. Martyr's Soul allows us to just tap our 3 creatures and then put this into play as a 5/4. And as long as none of our lands are tapped when it comes in, it becomes that 5/4. A little bit less setup for the Gurmag Angler, and it can come out faster than a Gurmag Angler. So this is definitely on my list of things like, yes, put this in, put as many as I can. It was one of my favorite cards from Modern Horizons, and keep on, Astrolabe was banned, so this is a little high. This is 1 point higher up on the list now since Astrolabe has been banned. We have our last 2 big Convoke creatures: the Siege Worm, which is a 5/5 trampler, kind of like a Gurmag Angler, and we have the Guardian, which is a 4/7 vigilance creature. Great way to get in with a big fatty and then still hold up the big fatty as definitely one of the best blockers in the game with its 7 toughness, threatening to eat anything that comes into contact with it, and then dish it back out when they fail to get through. Last way for us to win the game: Silver Flame Ritual, which was recommended to me by the Pauper guy. You should go check out his channel in the link down below in the description. For 4 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and it has Adamant, so if you spent 3 white mana to cast this spell, creatures you control gain Vigilance until end of turn. The Vigilance is so-and-so. It does matter because we can actually put a +1/+1 counter on each of our creatures, attack with those creatures, and if we did play at least 3 white mana for it, those creatures will still be untapped on our turn after combat, and then we can play the huge fatty. We get the best of both worlds. We get to go wide and big. It's great. Now for the mana base, it's actually rather small. We only want 18 lands. We don't want too many because, simply put, if we draw too many lands, we actually run the risk of flooding out and we won't end up getting the gas that we need to win the game. We definitely want as few lands as possible. I only think that we should have 3 down on the battlefield at a time. Any more than that, and in my testing, it just felt really bad. 4 Blossoming Sands, 3 Forest, 7 Plains, the 2 Ash Barrens to go find the basics, whichever one we need at the time. And we got the 2 Cycling lands, both white and green, to prevent the flooding. Now onto the sideboard. What we're always afraid of. Boggles isn't particularly great right now, but it doesn't hurt to have a 1 mana 1/1 creature that can just destroy an aura. Tap, destroy an aura is pretty good always. That's one of the great parts about being in white, is just the sheer amount of good Boggle hate. Caustic Caterpillar is another good one, not just against Boggles, but against Affinity and Atog combo. It is a good blocker that can then be sacrificed and destroy a target artifact or enchantment, and it fits in with our theme of just having a bunch of 1 mana creatures that we can tap for mana. Other than that, for enchantment and artifact hate, we have Gleeful Sabotage, another good one that can end up blowing away 2 artifact lands. Journey to Nowhere is really good against the heavy creature matchups, where we have problematic creatures that we don't know how to deal with and that we can't get around. Weather the Storm is great against Burn. It slows them down just enough so we can outrace them. And with all of the 1 mana cards in our deck, it's not hard to actually get up a nice little storm count going, especially with Convoke creatures. So convoke a creature out, then cast Weather the Storm, adding to the storm count. Now, Prismatic Strands is a great fog that can also help us with Burn, but I particularly like it against combo decks like the Inside Out combo. It forces them to tap down all of our white creatures as well as all of our white lands. Spider Silk Armor is great against Delver and against the Skred decks that have the Flying Fairies, while at the same time also protecting us from cards like Electrickery. If you have any suggestions for the deck or different variations of the deck that you would like to see made, let me know in the comments down below. Lots of people end up leaving me a long list of like suggestion cards and different reasons why certain things work out. And I do enjoy going over those, and I do enjoy adding things to like this big maybe section that exists in like the bottom of a lot of my decks. And there's a ton of different variations of basically every deck, because Magic is a massive game. So don't forget to tell me what you would like to see next in the comments down below and share it with somebody who would enjoy it. Thanks for watching and coming in for that face touch.